Welcome, guys, to another episode of We Don't Know Ball. Uh, Justin and Retro coming at you again live again out here on Monday. And we just came off of basically the holidays, a Christmas Day slate that was invigorating. I have some takes on that. But before we get into this past week in basketball, how are you guys doing today?
I'm good. I like that you use the word invigorating. That's a good word. I like that.
American vocab, we're moved.
I do like that. Yeah, I'm feeling good. A little sad that the Bulls our win streak is done, but that's okay because we're gonna be forever mid anyway. So why even have hope? But outside of that, I'm feeling good, man. Shout out the Jazz. I'm really happy for them. I'm really jazzed for the Jazz. You could say.
Okay, well, with that, yeah, Christmas was good. Christmas slate was good. However, we're 4 days past it, and the Grinch is still active as of about 35 minutes ago. Well, Nikola Jokic's awards chances for the year are officially over. Contact to no contact injury, very minimal contact, pulls up grip in his knee. Thoughts and prayers to the Joker. I mean, it sucks because this injury is going to ruin a generational year, and or it's going to help his numbers be more generational when he comes back in a minimum 6 weeks. You don't know. But yeah, thoughts and prayers to him. Christmas was good. Let's try and get through the rest of this season with no major injuries. I know on the NFL side of things, the NFL season just is absolutely fucking plagued with injury after injury, and we haven't had too many super serious injuries in the NBA this year. Somehow I feel if we lose Patrick Mahomes and Nikola Jokic to massive injuries in the same year, something was wrong with this year, and I can't wait for 2026 because hopefully it'll be better. Yeah, that's about all I got. Anyone else got anything before we get into this?
No?
Good.
Perfect.
Merry Christmas, guys.
All right. I'm just going to run
Happy
this
holidays.
down. I'm going to run this down. We're going to start from the quote unquote best team in the league. Juelz, your team played this team twice last week. From what I've seen, and this is insane to say, and you guys can get on me all you want to about it. OKC is 100% outplaying the Spurs. They are outplaying the Spurs. They are finding every open shooter. They are finding every extra pass. They are doing everything correctly. These motherfuckers can't hit an open shot. They just cannot hit an open shot, which brings me to my point after you guys address it of, is OKC at the exact same point that they were last year? Because once again, we're seeing a phenomenal team with phenomenal talent get backpacked by a phenomenal player because the only one consistently putting the ball through the rim. Because at the end of the day, you can do everything, and I mean literally everything better than your opponent, and not put the ball through the rim and still lose, and that is what's happening in these games, whether anyone wants to admit it or not. That is what's happening. They are out hustling, they are outplaying, they are moving the ball, finding the open shooter, but between J-Dub, Lou Dort, Chet, Cason Wallace, basically anybody that has a name on their team that isn't SGA cannot consistently put the ball through the fucking hoop. And this is making me feel like I need to change my pick for a back-to-back champion to literally anybody else except for the Denver Nuggets, because we'll get to them in a bit, especially now that this has happened. But I just want to know what you guys think about it. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's a given on the consistency thing from this team and who's efficient and who's not, but yeah.
I don't know. I mean, the Thunder to me, I said this before last episode. They're 7-4 against teams with winning records. I think that they are very overrated. I think that a lot of people put them in greatest team of all time conversations very quickly that they not deserve to be in. I think they are very good. They're an excellent team. I still think they're probably the best team in the league.
They could play the Spurs 6 times this year, lose all 6 matchups to the Spurs, and still have a shot at beating the greatest record of all time. I just need to know that.
Yeah, well, and that's fine, but I highly doubt it. But outside of that, I think that there is something to be said for basketball being a very mental game, and for whatever reason, it seems like the Spurs are just inside of OKC's head so much. You watched the Shea interview after they lost, where Shea said that, you don't lose to a team 3 times without being the worst team. And you look at the way he looks, he's very downtrodden, his shoulders are a little slumped. You can tell he's clearly just very, very unhappy, and I think it kind of represents the way all of OKC feels right now. And you can especially see this too in the Chet and Wemby rivalry. Every time Wemby is on the court with Chet, Wemby is talking to him, he's getting in his head constantly, he's letting him know that he's always there, and it seems like the Thunder just aren't responding well. I agree the Thunder are outplaying them, but at the end of the day, if a team is in your head and you just can't hit a shot, you can do whatever you want. You can make whatever great plays you want. You can get open whenever you want. But if a team is in your head, it doesn't matter. And that's kind of what
rumor has it that the only thing Wemby got for Christmas this year was a dog training collar and a leash so he can walk his bitch Chet all over the floor. So,
do you mind if I go and kind of monologue for a sec? So I want to go back to kind of touch on our heated discussion of the debate that we had of who should be the MVP. This has been a thing for OKC for this past year. And now the fact that a new team is is doing the stuff that other teams were doing, and it's because it's Victor Wembanyama, that's where I can't keep that same energy, because we saw this in the playoff run last year against Denver and specifically against Indiana. And everybody puts an asterisk on that is because, well, if Tyrese doesn't get hurt. And that's a completely, within context, that's fine. But then metrically, right, SGA is leading a better offense when he's on the court than off because of this specific thing. They're out hustling and doing all the intangible things you want for a team. But the shots aren't going in. And the shots weren't going in even during their win streak, and it's because defensively they create offense through their defense. And that's why I had SGA and still have SGA as winning the MVPs, because this offense has been stagnant in the half court, and the only person who can give you 20 a night has been SGA. So when we go in all in all, why I originally didn't have OKC winning this year is because of this. Is because of the inconsistent, stagnant offense, and there's going to be times where people are going to be taking advantage of that. San Antonio's done that in the regular season. Denver did that in the postseason. But when it comes down to it, I understand the pick for OKC, especially right now because of what happened to Jokic and the Nuggets. That's going to put a huge hole in my take of having Denver winning, because now we're going to have to see a minimum 6 weeks of Jamal Murray ball and see how they can go.
Yes, now we're great. We're going to have to hear you rant and switch your pick that now you can back your own team because they're better than OKC.
I mean, I'm not going to be the person that pushes that, because I don't think we beat them in a playoff series.
I don't think you beat them. I don't think you beat them when you have to play them 7 straight games, because I will give credit where credit is due. Even though their efficiency was low, they might be the best on-the-fly learning team that there is, because not dropping a back-to-back through the whole playoffs last year was just pretty impressive. Learning, okay, where did we go wrong? How did we scheme to fix what we missed here? How did we do this? How do we do that? So I'm still going to stand by OKC being my favorite, especially now that the Jokic injury has happened, and it kind of puts Denver fans in kind of a shitty situation. It puts them in the same situation, Juelz, that you were in the offseason. Is Wemby going to come back and be able to play the same because of his shoulder? Now it's going to be Jokic already moves fucking slow. So is he going to move slower? Is he going to be able to do things? Is this, is that? What's going to happen there? And depending on how they play for these 6 weeks, if they just go on an absolute shitter streak, when he comes back, if they're completely if they drop 7 or 8 spots in the standings, do they even play Jokic? It's such a weird finite thing to try to protect an investment when it's that, even with so much time left in the season. But if this is as serious as it is, he's a bigger, heavier set guy. His joints probably aren't the greatest off the rip. And on top of that, it's a knee for being a bigger guy, a center who has to bang and create contact and generate with his legs. So we'll see where it goes from here. But yeah, like I said, staying on the OKC train, I mean, all anyone's been able to do since they won the finals is glaze the team and glaze the front office and glaze the head coach and do all these things. It's like things are happening now, and it's just another thing that stacks up in their favor, which is just they don't need any more favor. They don't need any more help. They already have the quote-unquote best team on paper. They already won a championship. They're holding draft capital for the next 5 years. What else can this team get handed,
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I've had the Thunder winning since the start of the year. I'm not going to change that.
I don't see myself flipping either.
Yeah,
However,
I think that it is possible that the Spurs beat them in a 7-game series, but I think that the way I see it going is that it probably would go 7, and I think the Thunder would win due to more experience. That would be my guess.
Yeah, that's a good thought. However, I would like to move to the other side of that coin, and this is where I would like to ask Mr. Compton a very nice question.
Okay.
Juelz, how come your Spurs look so great against top-ranked teams, yet struggle to beat bottom 15 teams and still sometimes lose to them? So my question, I guess, is, are the Spurs going to make any moves to quote-unquote round out this team? And what will they give up? Because I think there are a couple holes in this team, and I also think that you also have a surplus of a certain position that we've already talked about, that maybe one of them can go. I definitely know you want a said other person to go, and potentially another one with him. But what, in your eyes as a Spurs fan, besides Devin Vassell, because we know that's just your given, who would you be okay with seeing go, and what kind of pieces would you like to bring in to maybe bolster this team to where we'd be more confident saying the Spurs can beat them in a 7-game series?
So to rewind, to answer the first question, why we don't do well against a bottom feeders, it's because a lot of the bottom feeder teams have kind of the same same offense, off-ball motion, and creating opportunities, because even though Wemby has this generational talent, what Mitch is asking him to do is play drop coverage against these high pick-and-roll teams. And when you're playing drop coverage against teams in a PNR, Wemby can make up that ground, but he's literally 8 feet out, and he's not helping. He's not hedging. He's not doing anything like that. So it's creating more 3-point opportunities for a team to come back in and outshoot us, which is
I don't want to pull a Kanye on you, but I'll let you finish. But don't you dare slander the great franchise that is the Utah Jazz ever again, calling them a bottom feeder team.
So I mean, fine, but we struggled against the Cavs.
You struggle against teams that play your game because they play your game better than you do.
No, that's just not true. No one is out physicaling us. You guys shoot threes. We don't shoot threes.
You guys.
What do you mean?
You guys.
You guys, as in the Phoenix Suns, the team that we've lost twice to, right? One of the better 3-point shooting teams in the league. We're like a bottom 10 team.
My problem, you can't cover a 5-out offense.
Yeah, but that goes to the point of we don't play the same. We're one of the best at creating backdoor cuts.
About Utah having the season advantage in their series against you.
Yeah, Utah, but again, Utah, Phoenix, Golden State, Cleveland all play high PNR and create a whole bunch of 3-point shots to where we're asking our centers to come out of drop and contest, and they're not doing it because they're hitting their shots. To the next thing to add with the Vessel leaving. I don't want Harrison Barnes there. I know everybody loves Mr. 100%. Um, he'll become Mr. 0% when it comes playoff time, and he's important because he's a top 5 guy in the league when it comes to corner 3-point shooting and 3-point makes. But there's just better people out there who can create off the dribble drive and get to the paint and create opportunities and swinging, all this kind of stuff. So if anything, those two are on top, closely right behind Jeremy Sohan. Jeremy Sohan is just eating money, and he doesn't get minutes. There's nothing that Jeremy Sohan has that has value for San Antonio right now.
And then I guess outside of on the third aspect of it, what you would want to bring in outside of Herb Jones, who is battling a minimal injury right now, who would you like to see potentially come into your system to help bolster to, like I said, be able to compete with OKC in 7 games?
Herb Jones' teammate Trey Murphy specifically, because he this year, even if you want to add the context that Zion has been in and out of the lineups, getting minutes off the bench as of right now. Trey Murphy's being able to create his opportunities off the dribble drive with Derek Queen. And he's a great 3-point shooter. He extends the floor. He's a good wing defender. He'll bolster our perimeter defense a lot, being a secondary rebounder, and he's able to play make at a not even a minimalist level, a good enough time to where you can create these cuts for Stephon Castle and create these cuts for Fox and Harper and all this kind of stuff to use our athleticism to our advantage. And that's what I would like. So the guy that has been on my radar for about a year and a half has been Trey Murphy, and now that the Pelicans are thinking about blowing it up, Trey Murphy's basically the name that is out there, and I think we should get
him. Okay. Retro, quick thoughts on the Spurs?
I basically everything Juelz said. I think the only thing that I would add is I'm really not worried about it. Like you said, they struggle against bottom feeder teams, but it doesn't matter. You're not going to be playing bottom feeder playoffs, so they can beat top end teams. That's all they need to do to win the finals. So to me, let you play down the competition. It happens, but you won't be playing against that kind of competition in the playoffs. So I just wouldn't be overly worried about it.
Well, speaking of playing down to your competition and struggling against bottom feeder teams, a certain franchise we already talked about lost their crucial piece tonight, and boy, do they do the exact same thing. The Denver Nuggets might be the most frustrating franchise to watch play right now for the simple fact of they do the exact same thing. They make close games out of top teams and don't close out against bad teams. I mean, they have 9 losses on the season. Great team, whatever. But they've dropped 2 games to the Dallas Mavericks this month. A certifiable bottom 8 team in the league right now. So with the Jokic injury and with I don't see Jamal Murray being able to fill that completely because completely different position, completely different game. What kind of bandage can this team slap on to make this minimum 6 weeks not so ugly? I mean, they're already battling the injury bug with Cam Johnson out. He hasn't been playing the greatest for them, but it also, again, still, I mean, it's 30 games in and people are saying, oh, he should be fine. He should already know what he's supposed to do and da-da-da-da. It's really hard to go from being the role player he needs to be now in Phoenix to being the guy in Brooklyn, who that's just, I mean, Michael Porter Jr. is doing a great job of it right now, but you don't have any other help. You don't have any other options. You have to do it yourself. To go back to what you were doing, you basically have to restructure your whole game. So what is there a bandage they can fix on it? Is this just a hope and pray situation? Because they've battled injuries all year. I mean, Christian Braun was out for a little bit. Aaron Gordon was out for a little bit. Johnson's out now. Jokic is going to miss the minimum 6. So what can they do?
So 2 points. One, talking about them competing against good teams. To mark that Timberwolves game that they played against them in on Christmas.
Yep.
By and large and none, my take on that is that's the greatest Christmas Day game of all time. I think that supersedes the 2016 Warriors Cavs game by far and large. Like it was the greatest Christmas Day game I've seen ever. That was an insane game on both ends.
It was definitely a dogfight for sure.
To me, I think that's the greatest game. So shout out to them. But to answer the question of what can they do? Fucking nothing. Fucking nothing. I'm sorry. Like Jonas Valanciunas is a great backup center, but now Adelman's going to have to completely adapt that offense and make Jamal Murray into the primary playmaker. And I think Murray's a capable playmaker. He's not bad at all. I think he's going to be an all-star this year. But there's just nothing you can do to supersede the impact of what Jokic is has given you. Cam Johnson's out, Aaron Gordon's out, Christian Braun's out. They're going to have to weather the storm, and Jamal Murray's going to have to average fucking 40. He's going to have to put up James Harden numbers. Basically.
Either that or Julian Strother's going to have to step up and show some promise, because the kid's got bounce. We see him take advantage on the fast break a ton. He's got an okay shot. It's nothing to write home about, but he, I think, is going to have to be one of those guys that steps up big for them right now. And I mean, it's him, Watson, and Murray, and that's what they have to work with right now.
Yeah, I just don't know where they go, and it's unfortunate for them for the next several weeks of where they kind of go. Like I said, Jonas Valanciunas is a great backup center. He has good impact, but they're not going to be running the same type of plays and DHOs and these cross-court passes with Jonas Valanciunas. He just doesn't have that skill set. That's going to be way too big of an ask for Jonas. So they're going to have to. I don't know. Like I said, Murray's going to have to average James Harden numbers just for them to compete in these games. And we're going to see their role players and see how important it is for their bench, because what I'll give credit to, and I said this in the debate before with Retro, is their bench has been significantly better than it was last year by a landslide. So we'll get to see the impact of said bench without said best player in the world playing. So we get to see the roles and the depth and that kind of stuff. But obviously, when you don't have your best player, it's going to be very hard to win games. But we get to see what they're going to be made of for these next several weeks.
Yeah, I mean, the question is, what can we do to replace the best center in the world, arguably a top 10 player in NBA history in his prime, having the single greatest offensive season in the history of basketball? I guess the answer is pray that God sends you an angel. I don't.
Yeah.
It's realistically, it's impossible. What there is no single player. Even if you took multiple players and you combine them together, good luck replacing the productivity. I don't know.
Yeah.
If I were the Nuggets, to be honest with you, it depends on what the injury is. If the injury is a torn meniscus and he's out for the year, go full tank. That's what I would do. Try to get a really good draft pick. Get somebody that Jokic can also have as another guy that he can have as a starter. That's what I would do. If it's short term, basically just pray that Jamal Murray can average 40. I think Jamal Murray has amazing abilities, and I think any given night he can do it. So you kind of just have to hope in that situation that Jamal Murray is okay, well, listen, I might be the guy that's second in charge. I'm his Robin, but I got to step up and be Batman while Jokic is gone. and I can, I'll do what I can to try to replace that. And I think if Jamal Murray is able to step up, they should be able to win a few games against some bottom feeders. Keep themselves. All they really need to do, if Jokic is out for, let's say, like 6 weeks, all they really need to do is just stay in the playoff conversation. I don't care if it's like the 8 seed or the 7 seed. As long as they're in that conversation, as soon as Jokic comes back, it can be business as usual. But you just need to make sure you stay in that. So what I would say is, if it's a short-term injury, rely heavily on Jamal Murray and just say, here's the reins. You got to do what you have to do.
Yeah, and I mean, it's like they're late. I'm looking at it right now. Their late January, early February slate is it's pretty rough. They have the Thunder, they have the Pistons twice, they have the Knicks. This is all within like a week and a half. They have the Cavs. They have some shit team named the Bulls.
So they'll lose to the Bulls. That's a rough
one. They'll play the Clippers twice, who are just absolutely nuclear right now. Yeah, I mean, it's
shout out Kawhi Leonard, by the way.
It's gonna be tough fucking sledding for them. But moving from one side of the greatest Christmas game to the other, at this point, like, it was a great game, but like, part of me is just convinced that Minnesota isn't really as good as everyone says they are, and they are playing way above their means right now with the fighting. They are, I've already used it as a saying for this situation, but they might be the definition of playing to their competition this year. They are in dogfight games with top contenders, but they're also in dogfight games with bottom 15 teams. So
they didn't play to us tonight, so thanks, Timberwolves.
You guys are ass, so we
lost by 35.
Yeah, you guys are ass, certifiable. You are as bad as
15 and 17.
You're as bad as the Brooklyn Nets.
Okay.
But this is the question I'm going to raise, and Juelz and I kind of talked about this earlier, and he really got excited that I actually had this as a question. Retro, I want your opinion on this first. Who is Minnesota's most valuable player? Because I'm convinced at this point it's not Anthony Edwards.
Dude, if I'm being most valuable, dude, Naz Reid's easily in that conversation. I would say it's between Edwards and Naz Reid. I understand Jaylen McDaniels or Jaylen McDaniels has the defense. What's up?
I'm sorry. I think you actually missed who their actual most valuable player is.
Well, I think Rudy Gobert's got great defense.
It's a big guy, but he's left-handed.
Julius Randle has excellent scoring capabilities. I think there's a lot of players you can make the argument for. I would still say it's Ant-Man, because Ant brings not only the scoring capabilities, but also the attitude. I don't know who you're looking for.
Oh, it's Julius Randle. The difference.
You think it's Julius Randle?
The difference at this point right now between the two is 4 points and 4 rebounds, opposite ways.
Sure.
I'm just convinced that Ant can't lead this team.
I think he has been.
I don't know. He has been with some pretty generational help, if that's what you want. I mean,
but getting the Timberwolves into places that he has already, especially given the fact that they're Minnesota, generationally
but it's on his own, right?
No, but it doesn't have to be on your own. You asked who the most valuable player on the team is. It's him. He's the face of the team. He's the leader of the team. He brings the attitude. He brings the energy, and he brings the scoring. Like, I think Anthony Edwards is, to me, clearly the most valuable guy. Again, there are arguments. Naz Reid has been massive as their sixth man. Everybody knows that. Rudy Gobert provides great rim protection. McDaniels provides great defense.
Even Chenzo and Dillingham have been unbelievable the last 2 years.
Yeah, absolutely. Their team roster construction is actually very good. And I agree with that. But I think that Ant is the number one, like, in terms of the most valuable, because most importantly, he brings the energy and the attitude that makes the Timberwolves fight. Like you said, Timberwolves like dog fights. That's what they like to do. And if you're a team that survives in those dog fights, that always bodes well come playoff time.
So why I get giddy with this conversation, it's because of the conversations Anthony Edwards gets put in because of the attitude and the scoring, which is fair points, Retro. I think that's completely fine. However, people for the past 2.5 years were saying he needs to become a better playmaker because when he gets double teamed in playoff situations and in high crucial situations, it was leading to turnovers. Now the fact that it's not necessarily leading to turnovers, he's able to make that read, but now everybody's glossing that to the side. It's like, okay, well, he can pass out of a double team now. It's like, why do we give that guy so much leeway when he was taking all these strides as a playmaker up until the fact that he met OKC and OKC made him basically bend over, and that's completely fine. It's OKC. It's OKC. I will give the context. That's fine. But now his playmaking has significantly regressed, and Julius Randle is now being put in these mid-post situations to play make for him. He's getting PNR situations with Rudy. And Anthony Edwards is taking, like, his on-ball percentage is still the same, but he's not making the same decisions because he's being tasked not to do it. It's Julius fucking Randle. And when it comes to a playoff setting, you're having Julius Randle be your decision maker. That's not fucking good because they don't have a point guard. So this is why I've been so adamant that Minnesota isn't as good as they are, because they fit their roles well, but their decision making is being superseded by a guy who is statistically the worst dropper in playoff history, upsouted last year, and then Anthony Edwards, who's cool. He's giving you 40. He's still turned over the ball four times a game, and he's giving you 4 assists. A 1-to-1 ratio isn't good. So what is this conversation now? Oh, he can't play. He can pass out of a double team, and he scores 40. What was the expectation prior to? So it's the goalpost moving that I genuinely don't like, and that's why I wanted to bring this up, because there's valuability amongst that team anywhere you get through it, and just because he gives you 30 points a night, oh, he's the most valuable person. Like, I think there's much more a deep depth conversation there than people want to realize.
That's fair. Like I said, I think there's a lot of people that have a fair argument for being the most valuable player on that Timberwolves team. Like I said, I really think Naz Reid is such a massive part of that team. And you, like I said, you even saw tonight against the Bulls. I mean, Anthony Edwards, he drops 23, and Julius Randle drops 17, but Naz Reid's coming off the bench with 26 minutes played with 33 points. Naz Reid can go nuclear at any point in time, and I think that's also so important to have, as a guy that you can bring off your bench and know as soon as he gets into that game, that's a spark plug. Like, we're good to go.
No. Well, to move on from Anthony Edwards to Anthony Edwards' favorite player, Kevin Durant, I just have one question. How big is the identity crisis for the Rockets right now? I just feel that we've been talking about this whole time about they're just they're playing the waiting game until they get a point guard. They're waiting for Fred VanVleet to get healthy. They're waiting for this. They're waiting for that. Yet, in everything that I've watched in the last week and a half, Amen Thompson off ball, being able to slip in a back door off of an insert pass to Sengun, has elevated his play. KD still getting the quote-unquote half-court face guards, double team treatment, leaving them with literally nobody to bring the ball up the floor. So my guess is, how long does this team wait before they just go and sign a free agent point guard to run their offense? Because I think this team, as good as they're playing, I mean, sitting, what are they, 4th in the West? T5 in the West, just behind the Lakers by a half game. This team should be competing for the top of the West with their star value, name power alone, but their ability on floor with the intangibles that they have. So, like, I don't know how long until Fred is back, but this is just one of those things is Reed Shepherd can't be the guy to run their offense. So what can they do now to elevate this play? Because sitting in a middle-tier setting like they are now, especially with the Nuggets injury, if they have to play the Nuggets for a 7-game series, it ain't going to go pretty for them.
I'm gonna reintroduce a narrative that Juelz and I had a while ago. There's this older guy. He plays point guard. He can occasionally still drop a nuke, but he's much more of an assist guy now. And he used to be the star for the Houston Rockets. Actually, he used to be like their biggest star.
Mr. State Farm.
He used to be absolutely phenomenal.
Mr.
You know
State
who would?
Farm.
Yeah, you know who would fit perfectly on
Would
this
be
Rockets
awesome.
team? James Harden.
No,
would fit absolutely
you're wrong
perfectly
guy. You got the
on
wrong
this
one.
Rockets team.
You got the
James
wrong one.
Harden would fit perfectly on this Houston Rockets team. Imagine the playmaking ability that James Harden has, combined with the fact that he still has the ability to score. Then you have the facilitator, so you don't have any conflict between Kevin Durant and Şengün. And it's just, everything works beautifully.
They need Chris Paul.
I would like them to get James Harden. I think it's a good place.
I don't see anyone leaving the Clippers now that they're playing the way they are.
I seem very torn with this because of those two things specifically. It's like the Clippers are playing decent ball this past week. Shout out to Kawhi. And Harden is still consistent enough to give you damn near a double-double. But I see his value somewhere else because my original take was like, Harden's, everybody, shits on him for his game sevens. Well, on the Rockets, that expectation is now no longer there. He's definitively the third or even arguably the fourth option if you want to put in Amen Thompson. But you have KD, you have Şengün, and you just have a guy who can get guys in sets, and Harden commands a really good offensive game. Why I am starting to back off of Chris Paul is not because of his attitude, not because of the traits that he has. It's that in the games that I've seen for him, really within the past year, even when he was in San Antonio, a lot of the stuff that he's giving you now wouldn't move the needle for anybody. The expectations is basically get KD to the Western Conference Finals. Chris Paul isn't going at this point in his juncture isn't going to do that. James Harden has a way better shot in doing that.
That's valid.
That's fair.
That's valid. Well, talking about a dinosaur of a guard, let's move on to another dinosaur of a guard. And boy, am I really gonna be pained to say this, but are Steph and the Warriors washed? Like, I'm so sick of hearing it. I believe it's the last 3 games I've watched of theirs, going out of the first quarter, going into the half. Oh, well, their entire bench is outscoring their big 3 between Steph, Jimmy, and Draymond. I could give a fuck about Draymond at that part. First question, why can Steph not get going until the second half? Second question, when did Jimmy Butler stop shooting the basketball? Third question, why is Draymond Green hitting threes? Because holy shit, the other night, that man, I mean, it was still a 50% clip, but Draymond shooting 50% from the three-point line is like any normal shooter shooting 90% from the three. So, behind the play of Quinton Post, Brandon Podziemski, Buddy Hield, Juelz, who's the new Iguodala? What's his name?
Will Richard.
Will Richard.
The new Iguodala.
The new Iguodala, yeah. He's literally just a 3-and-D guy. That's all he's there for. 3-and-D with phenomenal ability to read the ball. It's new Iguodala. This bench is playing phenomenal. But a ship can run smoothly without a captain for how long? And Curry, sure, box score wise, Curry's playing great. He looks great in the box score. Phenomenal in the box score. Let's talk about his efficiency. Let's talk about how he's putting up numbers. Let's talk about all these things about how Steph is pulling a Kyrie Irving when Luka was in Dallas. About how he can't play in the first half, that he just needs to get warmed up, that he'll shoot sub 50% for the first half, sometimes sub 40% for the first half. Sometimes he'll be 2 for 9 from 3 and continue to chuck. And then all of a sudden, I feel like teams are like, oh, Steph's having an off night. We don't have to guard him as tight. Let's sag off a foot and a half. Steph comes off a screen, wide open, bang. Next possession, 2-step over the screen, cross back, bang. Next possession, 2-step over the screen, cross tween, pass to the corner 3, bang. And all of a sudden, the Warriors are back in a fucking game they were no business being in to begin with. So, again, where is killer Jimmy Butler that came in last year and was the certifiable number one option on this team? And I don't care who wants to tell me that Steph has always been the number one option. He hasn't always been the number one option. KD came in and did it. Jimmy's here and doing it. I don't really want to hear about it anymore. You Steph Curry Glazers put this man in conversations that are unspeakable to say he's the greatest point guard of all time. There's 2 things that Steph might be the greatest of all time at. It's shooting the ball and his touch. That's about it. And he might have the best 3-point shimmy out of anybody in NBA history. But that's about it. That's the 3 things that Steph is the best at. So, again, I'm going to say this, and I say this with the biggest heart as a Steph Curry fan, but not a Steph Curry Glazer. Is this big 3 washed, being the second oldest roster in the NBA? And what needs to change for this team to actually be successful?
Retro, go ahead. No, Retro, you can go.
I was just going to say, Juelz and I talked about this last episode, but this team is fully reliant on Steph and Jimmy Butler playing well to win. If they don't, they lose. And that tends to be the issue. Against the Nets, for example, Steph, 27 points, 53% from the field, 42 from 3, and they win. And Jimmy Butler has 21 points in that game.
But that was on shooting 70% from the field in the second half.
Right, and, that is true. And even if you dive deeper, right, you look at plus minuses. Steph Curry's a -6 on that game. You've got Jimmy Butler, who's only a +7. Draymond is barely at a +3. And then you go look to the bench, and you've got Melton at a +26. You have Richard at a +22. You have Jackson Davis that's at a +10. So you look at their bench, and it's like they're very clearly more conducive to winning than the starters are right now. So I guess the point is, they're a little washed. I don't know. I mean, Steph is still great, I think. I think that Jimmy Butler is still solid. I just think that they need to get a lot younger very fast, and they also need to have the conversation of the guy that actually destroyed the Warriors dynasty, the guy that drove
Draymond Green.
The guy that drove KD out of town.
Draymond Green.
The guy that drove Jordan
Donkey
Poole
teeth.
He needs to go. It's time. No one feels comfortable around him. Everybody thinks he's mean and a jerk. And he kicks people very frequently and hurts people. What they actually need to do is they need to get rid of him. That's what they need to do. The second they get rid of Draymond and they clear that atmosphere, I think, Steph and Jimmy Butler are able to do their thing. You bring in some young pieces and you say, hey, listen, there is no threat that you're going to get socked in the mouth. There's no threat that you're going to get kicked anywhere in your nether regions. And so, you can actually feel comfortable in the locker room. Yeah,
there are 2 things that Draymond Green is really fucking good at. The first is kicking people in the nuts, and the second is actually analyzing the game. Draymond, please become an analyst. I will be your biggest fan, and I really hope that you'll replace Kendrick Perkins because he doesn't know his ass from a hole in the ground.
Actually true. Yeah,
Draymond Green is exactly what I think Richard Sherman brought to the NFL. He's a phenomenal analyst for it. I'd arguably say that Draymond Green could do what Cam Newton's doing with the 4th and 1 side of things, and it would draw just as much attention. For the simple fact that
to be clear, Richard Sherman's really, really good at football, and Draymond Green is
really, 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 really still not the best player in the secondary. Actually, probably the 3rd best player in the secondary, the Legion of Boom. But this ain't a football podcast. But anyway,
so rage bait aside,
that's not rage bait.
I see why you say Draymond Green is the person who destroyed the franchise, and I respect that. But I slightly disagree. I think there's a person that...
Say it.
It's not...
They're both just as guilty.
I think it's Steve Kerr. I think it's Steve Kerr, personally.
That man will be exposed for the fraudulent coach he is as the day Steph says, I'm done.
I think Steve Kerr and the Mike Dunleavy, the GM, completely has mismanaged drafts, mismanaged development of players, mismanaged minutes and the lineups, because why the Warriors are so reliant on Steph is because of the system that he has ran since he was there in 2015. And yes, when you have the surplus of talent that you can basically get gifted to, and then once you actually start having to do your job and to supersede that and to actually acquire the talent that is needed, he has not been able to do it. And that's why a lot of people regard 2022 so highly. 2022, if we look about it in revisionist history, isn't that very impressive whatsoever. It really is not. So when it comes to the Warriors, what they need to do is let what Jimmy Butler does and burn that franchise to the ground when he gets pissy at Draymond to the eventual fight that they will have and blow up the Warriors.
For that. Can they sell tickets to that? Because I think Jimmy Butler would dog walk the fuck out of Draymond Green.
And that's been my thing with Jimmy, because I hate Jimmy Butler. I do not like him. I actually hate Jimmy, and I think he's a good basketball player, but like I think he's the original free throw merchant because he scores majority of his points from the free throw line. He's one of the only players in NBA history to have more free throws made than field goals made, and the fact that every single place that he's and Retro, you can probably partake in this as well. He burned down the Chicago Bulls when he left there.
Well,
he definitely did. Oh, yes, he did. Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
I'm gonna argue against that for the simple fact that Jimmy burned down the Bulls. Yes. Why did Jimmy burn down the Bulls?
Because he bulls everybody. He burns everything down.
No. Jimmy burned down the Bulls because MVP's career ended. That's what happened. He could have continued. He would have continued to play with Derrick Rose if he was still playing. However, I don't think Jimmy can handle that pressure. We saw Jimmy in Miami, great, fine, whatever. But Jimmy Jimmy is when things are good, things are great.
No,
things are lukewarm. Jimmy's gonna fire it up.
What would have happened is he would have found something to complain about in the Bulls. Well, I don't know. He would have complained about the color that the sun was that day, or like the blue sky. And Jimmy Butler would have been like, I'm mad at the Bulls, and then he would have.
And Joakim Noah would have grabbed him by the back of his neck like a little kid and beat the shit out of him.
So I'll disagree with. I understand that, but if you remember, Derrick Rose, when he came back post-injury with the Chicago Bulls, there was moments that he was still having post-knee injury that Tom Thibodeau and Fred Hoiberg would still give him as number one option. And Jimmy, during that time, when Derrick was out, was the best player on the team. If you want to argue Joakim Noah, that's completely fine. But as soon as Derrick comes back, he gets pissy. He leaves to follow Tom Thibodeau because he really liked him. Then he blows up the Timberwolves because the low effort of Karl-Anthony Towns and Andrew Wiggins holds them accountable. That you could say is justifiable. Okay, cool. Then he goes to Philly. Then the Tobias Harris situation happens, and if you want to, even if you want to give him the benefit of the doubt of the front office and Daryl Morey and Brian Colangelo, we're going to give it to Tobias Harris. Again, I'm trying to be fair. I'm trying to look at it and be empathetical and be on the other side. Okay, you can understand. But then Miami Heat comes around. He gets to 2 finals runs, and Pat Riley's unwilling to go and get him another guy. So he becomes pissy and fakes injuries so he can get to the best offensive situation possible in Steph. He has done this for 10 plus years, and we don't hold this guy accountable for shit because of the 2 playoff runs that he has had. That is disgusting, in my opinion.
I don't give a shit. I think, like I said, I'm on the side of there's 2 Jimmys. There's Chicago Jimmy, and then whatever the fuck crapshoot happened after.
And that's what I agree with, is that when Jimmy, you said it perfectly, when a situation is really good, we don't hear Jimmy's name in the media whatsoever. We don't hear him making comments. We He is on his A game. As soon as there's an inconvenience in Jimmy's camp, he goes nuclear.
And that's the
I
thing is,
can't wait for to.
I can respect Jimmy wanting to be a winner, but to be a great winner, you also have to know how to lose, and you have to know how to go through hardship and battle through it. You can't just. You're not a kid anymore on a fucking AAU team that your dad coaches. You can't bitch and moan and cry, and everything will be better, and he'll buy you ice cream after the game.
Also, I wanted to say as well, for the record, just to be clear, with those, like with the KD and Steph and Clay teams, if you took Juelz, made him head coach, you took Justin, made him executive of that Warriors team, and then you took me and put them on the coaching staff somewhere, they would still win the finals. So
just so we're clear, we could put me on probably 17 executives right now in the NBA, and their teams would do better. That's just me. I already talked to Juelz today about how I could redo a couple teams on minimal moves and they'd be great. And Juelz goes, that actually kind of makes sense. So it's not that fucking hard. These guys, I told Juelz, I said it exactly this way. I said, these guys get paid millions of dollars to suck at their job. I don't get paid anything and I do their job better. That's just the way.
And I just more specifically, because you were talking about Steve Kerr, the guy's a fraud. Obviously you can win with the team, dude. Again, if you took Juelz and put him as head coach, and you said, "Hey, I need you to go win the finals with that team," Juelz would say, "Okay, KD, Steph, Clay, you guys are all like prime in your prime."
It's not even that. You could put any of us on the coaching staff right now and run the offense. What's the offense? Hey, run high PNR. If Steph can't get the ball and he has to pass away, run 3 screens away so we can run back and get the ball.
Yeah, literally, yeah.
Well, and this is what I like, because I do want to move on. This is the last thing I'll say. The over-reliance on Steph. And when we have these basketball conversations, I want to be very clear about this. There's a definite, when you score 30 in a game and you're getting 4 points a quarter, 10-point quarter, another 10-point quarter, and then an 8-point quarter, that is completely different than you having a goose egg, then 2 points, and then a goose egg, and then 28, and everybody's going to be like, oh, well, 28 is completely more impactful than the 4, 10, 10, and 8. That is not the same.
What did I say earlier? If Steph Curry played the whole game like the one quarter he actually plays, he'd be a fucking 2K created player.
Yes, and it's obnoxious. It's
disgusting.
Yeah.
Anyway, we can go from the second oldest franchise to, I believe, the oldest franchise in the Los Angeles Clippers.
Yes.
You guys can go ahead and glaze Mr. Double Nickel the Claw on whatever you want to do. My questions here are the Clippers starting to wake up enough to compete, or is the hole too deep to dig out of?
Juelz, you got it.
The hole is too deep, and why I say that is because of the Zubac injury. I think, shout out to Brook Lopez, kind of rewinding the clock. We're talking about the unction, giving you that 31-9 game that he had, and me and Justin were saying this off screen. Brook Lopez has innate value because he's now creating way more opportunities at the lane for James Harden to get to the cup, which he wants to do, compared to Zubac. But why this team is way too big of a hole is because of Tyronn Lue, the lineups that they run, and him not knowing how to play John Collins in situations. And we also talked about this, Justin. As soon as Derek Jones Jr. comes back in the lineup, they look a lot better. And I think
Tyronn Lue was spot on with that in an interview 4 weeks ago, maybe 6 weeks ago, where he said, yeah, I mean, it's a rough stretch right now, but once DJJ gets back, we'll be fine. And since he's been back, man, I mean, they are better than fine.
It's because of the spacing, the ample spacing that they have with Derek Jones Jr. and Brook Lopez, because now you can't go and double team Kawhi in the mid post when Zubac is on the floor.
Yeah, John Collins is like a 4% lower spacer shooter than DJJ is, and they couldn't figure it out, which is insane.
Right.
So that just means that Tyronn Lue is playing favorites, and the trade they made to get him was a waste of time, which we will get to where he should be and how that team would be thriving if he were still there in a second. But
Yeah, I think they just dug themselves too deep of a hole, and even though that 10th seed in the West is, I think, a lot more capable of being in the there than the East, because we can talk about that as well. I just don't know if they're going to be out dueling some of the teams above them, because all the ones above them, I think they just have what at least traits on both offense and defense that I'm just gonna take over the Clippers. But this is
It's
why the Clippers are just such a awkward team, because they look really good when they're on. James
Yep.
Harden's gonna give you 40, Kawhi's gonna give you fucking 40, and then a 55-point game, 51 through three quarters. Brooke Lopez has a 31-point game, but when they're low, they're real fucking low. Like Jesus Christ. So I don't know. I still don't have them as a playing team. I'm not sold on it.
it's a five
But
and a
shout
half.
out to the performance.
It's a 5.5 game gap off the play-in right now.
I just, unless something happens with it with the Glazed Jazz that we have, or the Portland Trailblazers, I don't see that happening. I just don't.
Yeah, I guess.
Y'all ever seen Uncle Drew?
Yes.
Yes.
That's what the Clippers team looks like.
Kind of, sort of.
Because
Yeah.
sometimes, it's like in Uncle Drew, the old guys get on at the right time and they just pop off. But unfortunately, the Clippers don't live in a movie. And while sometimes, the older guys can get it going, like Juelz said, sometimes the unction can get it going and they start cooking, right?
No,
but unfortunately, they are also all extremely old.
Well,
so
before we move on to my our Glaze phase of the podcast, I hope Amen and Azar got Daddy Kawhi a really nice present for Christmas, because he has put belt to ass to the Thompson brothers.
96 points between both of them.
Combined on the Thompson brothers in the 2 games he played against them. Unfucking believable. Yeah. Anyway, Retro, I told you I had a new take for our Utah Jazz Glaze.
Mm-hmm.
God, this is going to sound insane, and I kind of ran it past Juelz earlier, but I'm so fucking all in for it. Dear Utah Jazz, do not sell anyone except for one player. One player. Get his garbage ass 1-year contract off your books and go get yourself a competent guard. Please. Go get somebody to set up Keontae George. Go get somebody who can run high PNR with Walker Kessler. That way he can make the move and pass the ball to Laurie in the opposite corner. Run your offense through the PNR with Kessler, Filipowski. Use Sensible as a spacer. Use Keontae George as a spacer. Use Laurie as a spacer. Get Nurkic's bum-ass contract off your team and go get a guard, and you guys will be fine. Do not trade anyone. I'm so set on this. Retro, I'm telling you right now, if they can find a way to get Nurkic and Ryan Anderson off their team, and they can even bring in a low-level competent, like, Mike Conley style guard, somebody who can literally just bring the ball up the floor and pass, and this team will be fine. They can go make a move in free agency. If they still had John Collins to be able to play with this team, and they could run a 3-4-5 of Laurie, John Collins, and Walker Kessler with Keontae at the 2, and they just needed a comparable point guard, this trade now makes no sense, because John Collins did not get used correctly as a Clipper, will not get used correctly as a Clipper. They didn't want to pay him the max. I completely understand that. I understand not wanting to pay him. But they have cap to blow because Laurie's the only one making over $20 million, and he's sitting around, I believe, 37, and in his last year he makes 45. But it's 19, almost 20 mil on Nurkic's contract. It's 10 mil, just under 10 mil for Ryan's contract. And then they have to pay, I believe, 2 players this year and 3 players the year after, which means that they can go out and get a free agent this offseason to run their offense. Juelz and I kind of talked about it. The guy I would really like them to go get, and I don't think it will work for them, and I don't think they'll pay him the money, is Anthony Simons when the contract is up, if Boston doesn't extend him. That would be great. they could, in theory, take John Collins back in free agency if he's willing to take a lower contract because his contract is up because the Clippers aren't going to extend him. So I am all in on the Jazz not selling. I am all in on them going and getting a point guard to run their offense and working with what they have. They have enough young talent to do things. If Ace doesn't pan out, fine. Ace can still be your sixth man, and you have Ace and Sensabaugh coming off the bench with Kyle Filipowski. That's 8 deep right there. You can add to, Isaiah Collier, and who's the other guard, Juelz?
Walter
Clayton. That's
I'm the number one Walter Clayton glazer.
That's fine. That's 10 feet. That's 10 people deep right there. Just go get a starting point guard.
So this is my take. I'm actually more radical than you are on this. I don't think they should sell anybody.
No, Nurkic needs to go.
I think Nurkic needs to stay. You only have 2 super viable centers on your roster, or 3. You have
4.
Nurkic, Filipowski, and Kessler. I would say those are like your 3 like super viable centers. It depends on what lineup you want to play. So like when Kessler comes back, you can reliably assume he's going to be the starting center. He'll be the guy. So Kessler will be like their main guy, right? Filipowski, I feel like, is probably going to play the power forward because he can come in and do like DNR stuff, and Filipowski does have the ability to shoot a little bit. So you can do some stuff with him a little bit there. So ideally Kessler and Filipowski is like your 2 bigs, and then you have Nurkic off the bench. That's the way I would do it. And then you have Keontae George running the point. You have probably Ace, though personally I much prefer Walter Clayton. I think Walter Clayton is phenomenal.
And why do you prefer Walter Clayton?
Because, one thing is, I watched Walter Clayton play at Florida. He is a killer. He is clutch. It is in his veins. I've seen it. I've seen it plenty of times. Even in that Spurs game, Walter Clayton comes off the bench. He goes 6 of 6 from the field, 2 of 2 from 3, 3 of 3 from free throw. Doesn't miss all night. Walter Clayton is a killer when he needs to be. I love that. So, ideally, Keontae and Walter Clayton could play that. Then you would have Kessler, and you would have Filipowski, and you would put Markkanen at the 3. He can play like the wings. Markkanen has the ability to do that. That's a beautiful starting 5. Coming off the bench, you would have Nurkic that could play the center. You would have Ace Bailey coming off the bench. You have Isaiah Collier off the bench. I mean, that is a very, very good 8-man rotation.
Mind you, Nurkic is 37, making $20 million.
Sure, and I agree the contract's a little crazy. If you can so here's one thing. If you can trade him out for another center that's like a little younger and a little cheaper, I would be okay with that. But otherwise, I would want it the exact rotation I just said. I think it's a perfect rotation. It takes advantage of all your best players, and you've still got guys coming off the bench.
And that's kind of where I was at, because it struggles because even though I know you're not a fan of Nurkic has had extreme value when Kessler hasn't been there, running these DHOs and these flares and making these reads for them. I mean, I think he's averaging his career high in assists this year.
We're how many games into the year?
We're
well into the third, like almost 30 games now.
Oh, we're 30 games into the year. Just curious. There was another franchise, just some other franchise, that he looked really good replacing a center that was a certified fucking bum for 30-some games, and then he became a certified fucking bum. So I'm just saying, from personal experience, he's going to let you down at some point.
Well, right. The difference between Will Hardy and Monty is that Will Hardy's running a whole bunch of these flares and off balls for Laurie and making it easier for Nurkic to read, while Nurkic is being a downhill hard screen setting lob threat for Booker, which I'm not saying that he can't be, but his innate value in evolving himself into more of a playmaking and rebounding big has shown for this Jazz team. I agree that I don't think he should be on this team for the foreseeable future, but it's going to be hard to move off that contract, I think, at the deadline, because of his age and money. So that's why I'm.
Do you know?
I just don't know.
Do you know who I really like to play on this team? And I don't think he'll ever get on this team. But you know who I'd really like for them to actually go get as their starting center or starting power forward that would be really, really beneficial to this team. And Juelz, I was shitting on him earlier because he was playing well against my Suns. Alex Sarr.
Alex Sarr.
I would love Alex Sarr to come and be on this team as a rotating 4-5 big man.
Like I said, I have no problem if you can kind of sub Jokic out for somebody that's, or not Jokic, Nurkic for somebody that's
See? Fucking Jokic, bro.
That's it right there. They'll sign him in 3 years.
Somebody that's cheaper and younger than Nurkic is. I think that would probably be a good idea. But like I said, outside of that, you really do have a dream 8-man rotation. You have so many young pieces.
Their future is so bright.
And you've got Markkanen, the veteran, that kind of brings everything together and can keep people on track. And like I said, you've got killers on that team. You've got clutch guys. You really have everything that you need. This Jazz team is going to be a problem.
And just to be clear before we move on, this take is in the extreme minority because of how the media is pushing for Lauri Markkanen to move on, how he's going to fit on the 30 other fucking teams that would love to have a Lauri Markkanen.
The only 3 people in the world that actually believe in the Utah Jazz, right?
So basically, what Juelz is saying is when this comes to pass, we should be getting credit for this take.
Yes, and and let's just say we were all wrong, and they do move on from Lauri. It's still a win-win situation.
We will hold Danny Ainge for Lauri Markkanen's Jazz career on this podcast.
Factual, but this is a win-win because Danny Ainge wins every trade. So we see the core of what it can be with Lauri. This can even be better with set draft assets if in the future. And again, this is on. We all understand that none of us said that Ace Bailey was going to become a star in this scenario. No one mentioned that. He was at best. I think Justin said that he could have been a 6-man, or Retro could have been a 6-man. This is all predicated on the fact that Ace Bailey doesn't become the lottery pick, the next franchise player. This is how good the Utah Jazz situation is.
Rondé Hollis Jefferson.
And the thing is, if Ace Bailey does become that guy, this Jazz team is, I don't even, bro. If Ace Bailey becomes the star that he was supposed to be, besides Markkanen, and then he's got all of these other guys around him that are helping him. Holy cow, bro! That team is going to be nasty. And like we said, unlike the unction on the Clippers and all of these older guys like the Warriors, this team is nothing but young guys. Everybody, even Markkanen is not old. Yes, he's a veteran, but he's not old.
All right. I'm done with the West. I'm not talking about any other teams in the West. I don't think they deserve our attention or time.
Mm-hmm.
And Markkanen, I love you, by the way. Yeah. I wish you were still in Chicago.
Did you catch that part of it? I don't think they deserve our attention or time. They'll stay afloat. Moving on
to Vegas. Come back, please.
Let's start right at the top of it. Detroit. Are the Pistons still the top team in the East, disregarding the record? Are the lights too bright for Cade? Or does his team need to step up? And why has Jaylen Duren been the best center in the East this far this season?
So,
top 10 center of all time, Bam Adebayo, you mean?
Oh my God.
He's the second best center on his team, so that's pretty impressive.
Oh, well. So with the Pistons, they're there. I'm a big Pistons fan.
Same.
Because I love Duren and I love Cade. But outside of that, and we'll keep talking about this, their offensive situation fucking sucks. And I hate having this conversation. It's people disingenuously trying to put fucking Duncan Robinson in these conversations as a good spacer. Okay, cool. He can put the ball on the floor and he can create his own shot. But what he was being maximized at in Miami is because he's used flare screens and shooting off created shots for him. Jaden Ivey's been hurt, and that's the biggest question mark. But even in time that he's been there, he's a downhill guard who has a questionable 3-point shot. And that doesn't help Cade or Duran. Tobias Harris is Tobias Harris. You don't need to really go into that. They're the biggest bright spot outside of those two has been Denoris Jenkins, and I've said that a couple weeks back because he's a good spark plug off the bench. But this team is over exceeding expectations, and it's because I would argue because of one guy, and that's fucking Cade. And this is why they need to go and find a playmaking guard that can supersede Cade's offensive load and help him, take those numbers down a little bit, but make this team way more competent offensively.
No, I don't know anybody that perfectly fits that situation. There's not a single guy that comes to mind.
There is, yes,
There's
you
not-
do.
there's not a-
Yes,
there's
you
not-
do, and
there's
you
not a-
need to get over your feelings.
not a
You need to get
single-
over them.
There's not a single player in the league that comes to mind that could lighten the load. That might be a Michigan kid that plays on my team that is carrying my team, but
Yes,
we need him.
Yes.
Because
I agree with you. Devin Booker should be on the Miami Heat. Absolutely.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Let's get on
all
top.
right, so
of it.
Bulls fans are no longer allowed to talk during this podcast.
Yeah.
Anyway,
So it's
just curious. Week 14 of me asking you, is Josh Giddey still a top 5 guard in the East, and you lying to me by saying yes. Next, all right, keep going.
so where I'm seeing specifically, the Pistons been on this West Coast stand and are continuing on their stand. They played the Kings, the Trailblazers. They're about to play the Lakers tomorrow, and then another West Coast team, I forget. They lose against the fucking Kings. That's concerning.
That's
and
bad.
Cade was in foul trouble, and we saw when he was off the floor that they couldn't fucking generate anything. And Duran had a good game, but he's a limited offensive big. Like, no offense to him, I think he's great defensively, but he is a offensively limited big.
Yeah, what it is, Juelz, is they beat the Kings, lost to the Jazz, lost to the Clippers, play the Lakers tomorrow, and then they go back to their regular. They go 4 games in the East against Miami.
So they lost to the Jazz.
Yeah, by 2.
Yeah, and it's where this team, I think, is over exceeding expectations. I do have them as I had them as a top 3 seed coming into the year. But they just need the offensive help. Like, defensively, they're fantastic. I love the active hands that they have, the switchability, how physical they can be in bullying teams and creating turnovers and speeding them up. Like, that's why OKC is great, because they speed you up. Detroit speeds you up. But when it comes to the offense, it's like JB Bickerstaff, and this is why I will never be a fan of him, is wherever he lands, he asks your offensively minded guard to literally do everything and runs them into the ground. He did that in Cleveland with Donovan Mitchell, and Donovan Mitchell isn't a near of a fucking playmaker as Cade Cunningham is. And now everybody's taxing Cade because he has a bigger offensive load and he's leading to fucking a whole bunch of turnovers. Yeah, because his offense fucking sucks. And there's no spacing. They're the worst 3-point shooting team in the association. Like, there's nothing that he can fucking do. As soon as you give him spacing, guess what? His turnovers go significantly down when Isaiah Stewart's on the floor. You know how fucked up that sounds? Isaiah Stewart. Beef stew is giving you value. Like,
I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna give that dude a lot of credit. The fucking where Dylan Brooks left off the villain arc, Isaiah Stewart really picked it up and ran with it, and he's been great this year for this team.
Yes, and because of Cade, because he's generating these 3-point shots, and Beef Stew has developed a 3-pointer, and he's creating the value. Like, Jaylen Duran and Beef Stew, when they're both in the lineup together, offensively, they're like a top 5 offense when they're both on the floor.
Isaiah Stewart's one of the few people in basketball that still chases his own rebound when he shoots the ball.
Yeah. They still have Karis LeVert, and he's been wishy-washy. I think he's a good player. But outside of that, and again, that it requires extreme context, this team is struggling, and they need to go and find somebody, and I just don't know where they should go.
We know where they should go, but they should also keep their fucking mouths and grimy paws shut. So,
oh my god,
yeah. Moving on to one of the two teams who I might think is actually the best team in the East. How good are the Knicks? And my question behind the how good are the Knicks is I know this team is good. I know what they put up right now is great, and I know they're an 8-man team because that's all they've been the last 4 years. Does this team make a trade? Do they trade a top guy, and do they go get somebody? Because obviously we've heard in the rumors that there could be a potential move where Cat's out the door, and I think that would be the only guy, quote unquote, expendable to their team as one of their top 4 guys. Does this team make a trade before the deadline or at the deadline to bolster for the playoffs, or do they just keep rocking with it right now that it's working?
Retro, you can go.
I mean, there's not really much for me to say on this. I think that the Knicks could probably stay around the same and still be a pretty big contender, especially given that they're in the East, and everybody knows how weak the East is this year. And when I say weak, I mean comparatively to the West. Like, obviously, like, there are some good teams in the East, but it's just not even competition. I think tonight, like, for an example, against the Pelicans, like, they did get in a dogfight. They did have to go to Smoothie King Center, which I still think is one of the worst names for a stadium of all time. But they did have to go to Smoothie King Center to play the Pels, and while it was a dogfight, they were able to win. I think the Knicks, and we've known this for a while, are an extremely gritty team. That's one of the things they're known for is being able to get down and dirty with their opponents. And as long as they can continue to win, even if it's by just a little bit, I think they should be fine. Again, this East is not some like powerhouse East. Just for proof of that, we have the Jason Tatum-less Celtics that are in top 4 in the East. So I think you got teams like that are competing. I think the Knicks will be fine.
My thing on it is like, because they were the team when the whole Giannis thing came out as the team to go and get Giannis, and the name that came up the most was Karl-Anthony Towns. Since Giannis has been hurt and he's now come back, I think those trade rumors have been kind of squashed. But my real question is the true valuability of said clutch player of the year, Jaylen Brunson, because I want to give a quick thing. So when a certain player not named Jaylen Brunson is outside of the lineup, they rank 20th in offense and 21st in defense. Who is the person that is missing in that lineup? It's OG Anunoby. Yes. OG Anunoby, when he's in the lineup with the Knicks, a top 2 offense and a top 3 defense.
He's their actual best player. He's their quote-unquote third option, but he's their actual best player.
He is single-handedly, like, this game wasn't necessarily great efficiency-wise, but he gave you a double-double tonight. The only other person who gave you 10-plus rebounds was I believe, Karl-Anthony Towns, and he's a double-double machine. But OG Anunoby is equally as valuable as Brunson because he's doing all the other stuff Brunson can't physically do.
It's not equal. It's actually so much more elevated, and it's not even close because not only can OG do everything Brunson does, but he also plays defense, which is just kind of the biggest thing that the NBA has now.
And to be clear, by the way, not to dig up old wounds / old debates, but if it's not clear enough, Tyrese Halliburton is much better than Jaylen Brunson, by the way.
We know.
Just to be clear.
We know.
But the whole thing with Brunson is he's actually a really great scorer.
Yes.
But like Justin said, it's because of his limited size that he's not a good defender, and he's not necessarily the greatest rebounder. I think he has taken a playmaking jump this year, and I've been impressed with that. He's been way smarter with the ball, but his shot selection is still pretty bad. And really outside of
was at Steph's low point.
And outside, like, he is incredibly clutch, but he becomes clutch against teams that don't necessarily shouldn't be hanging with them in the first place. Like for the first 3.5 quarters, San Antonio was battling with them in the cup. Like we mentioned tonight, the Pelicans were with them in a dogfight. Why are they in these situations? Is because mostly Brunson, and like you can make the excuse today with OG, but they're not, like Mike Brown was supposed to come in and make this offense really good, and it looks a lot more fluent, but it at the same time, Mike Brown hasn't moved the needle since he was the Cavs coach back in fucking 07. He's a LeBron merchant.
It's because they signed the wrong Mike to the head coaching job. We all agreed in the offseason that this was Mike Malone's job to get, and Mike Brown was the answer, apparently.
And mind you, just I don't think he played tonight because he was hurt. Mitchell Robinson, the most unique, valued player in the NBA. Give you guys a quick stat.
Mr.
Per 100%, Mr. Mebounds per 100 possessions. OKC. I'm sorry, not OKC. I believe it's the Houston Rockets per 100 to lead the NBA in offensive rebounds.
That is correct.
Mitchell Robinson by himself per 100s is second.
Correct.
Second in offensive rebounds per 100. So
sorry, I was lagging for a second. Did you say we're talking about Angel Reese? Is that what you said?
Oh no, we were talking about Mitchell. Kind of. It's Mitchell Robinson. Same thing.
Oh, okay. So Angel Reese.
Angel Reese. So that's why they're such a gritty team, because they have the Mitchell Robinson offensive rebounds, which is incredibly valuable. And they're getting into these dogfights, and they just say, okay, Mitchell Robinson, go get a rebound, but don't shoot free throws for us. Like, it's because he's dog shit at the free throw line. But he just has a very unique value I just don't know how sold I am.
He's younger than Steven Adams.
He's got the 2K build where he maxed out offensive and defensive rebound, but he didn't add anything to the free throw. So he's got like a 30 in free throw.
Maybe he should just go get one of those unique free throws. Like maybe he should learn how to granny shot or shoot one-handed.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Like bring back the underhand.
Shoot left-handed like Sohan had to learn how to.
Literally.
Yeah, dude, there's got to be something that you could change.
There's something they can do. But yeah, I'm done talking about the Knicks. I really hate the Knicks. I don't want the Knicks to ever succeed because New York fans are just as bad as Philly fans. But especially when it comes to the Knicks. But anyway, after all that,
don't let Stephen A. Smith hear you say that, bro.
Yeah, after all that, moving on to who I believe is the team that is T1 with them for the best team in the East. I truly, truly believe that the Celtics are on pace to be the best team in the East. And Juelz, I know you've probably been waiting and watching and not wanting to hear this debate, but all these guys, all these fans, Retro, literally you and I are the anomaly here. Of the Celtics are going to be fine. The Celtics are going to be great in Jaylen Brown's hands. The Celtics are going to be okay. Yes, big part of this situation of them being great is the role players have stepped up, and they are getting help from players that have been basically just ineffective throughout situations, being Quetta and who's the other dude? Jordan Walsh. However, Juelz, you did say that Jason Tatum's best season was 2022-2023 season. Jaylen Brown's numbers are almost, and I mean almost identical to Jason Tatum's best season that he had. Granted, it's through 30 games. So, again, this raises mine and Retro's point of one doesn't have to be greater than the other, but they're definitely the most interchangeable duo in any situation because
they're both superstars, and people refuse to give Jaylen Brown the credit.
I think what the difference here is, and why everyone wants to put, oh well, Tatum is head and shoulders better than Jaylen Brown, and this, that, and the other, is Tatum's ability to play make. However, if you have someone else that can play make, which I'm pretty sure their guards have been doing a phenomenal job of it this year, Jaylen Brown isn't going to get you the assist numbers. Granted, he's only, I believe, like 2.3 assists behind Tatum's best year of assisting. He's 0.7 rebounds, I believe, lower, and he's technically 0.3 or 0.4 points off of. So the same amount of points, basically the same amount of rebounds, just lower assists on arguably the same efficiency. So I'd really just like to bring to light that when these two are on the floor together, Jason Tatum looks like the better player because he hinders Jaylen Brown's play. Jaylen Brown does complement well off of him and does make Jason Tatum look better and vice versa. I'm just saying, and that I think that was what me and Retro were trying to get at from the jump of this, is that if Tatum wasn't there, they are basically the same team. Does it help to have two perennial all-star candidates in your starting five? Yes. Does it help that one is a little bit better of a playmaker and one is a hell of a lot better defender? Yes. But the fact of the matter is Jaylen Brown can run this team just as well as Jason Tatum can, and they are going to be fine. They're going to continue to compete for a top 3 spot in the East. They are going to be a contender in the East through the playoffs, especially if they get Jason Tatum back. So I just want to know why. I want to know why there's just generational Jaylen Brown hate.
It's not Jaylen Brown hate, it's Jaylen Brown realization. So here's the thing. While you mentioned it perfectly. Their role players are stepping up. So when Jason Tatum, his best impact metric years is 22. Yes, when he's off their floor, they're a -5. When Jaylen Brown's off the floor, they maintain the best as being the same amount of offense. So Jaylen Brown needs more to be equally as productive as Jason Tatum. The fact that clearly by impact metrics. So then we can go on top of the fact that they're a bottom 2 defense. They're a bottom 2 defense when it comes down to it. Their defense is awful. Jason Tatum is way better offensively and defensively than Jaylen Brown is as a number 1. Then we go on top of the fact that defensively they're ranked 28th in the league when it comes to points given up. This team is not metrically sound to make any type of run unless Jason Tatum is at the helm of it. This is the Jason Tatum hate that I don't understand.
So what we're getting
at is he needs less and he does more.
He needs less. He needs
a guy who has an illness and a Drew Holiday who's 35. He needs that to win.
So what you're telling me is he needs another arguably top 15 player in the NBA. He needs the 6th man of the year, and he needs his role players to step up, whereas Jaylen Brown isn't getting any of that, and they're still in the same spot.
Peyton Pritchard is already in 6th man of the year conversations, and you can argue, sure, cool, and what, he has a little bit of better defense when KP is playing 38 games and Kata's outproducing KP in the said amount of games.
About that. They lost Drew Holiday, they lost Porzingis, and they're still in the same spot.
They're not in the same spot. So that's no. Eight more losses is the same spot? Really? Because they won 25 games. They had 25 games won with Jason Tatum. They don't have 20 wins now. They're battling with the Toronto Raptors. They're battling with the Raptors that shouldn't be in this spot. How's that look for the Celtics?
They're battling with the Raptors, who are in your
better
top
defensively
every favorites for the East. But then again, they're T3. They're fighting for a top of a conference. I'm pretty sure that would put them at the same spot.
No, see, Justin, let's use our comprehension skills. 25 wins when Jason Tatum is at the helm is not the same as 18 wins, correct?
They're at 19 wins, but yeah.
Okay, so 25 is more than 19. How is that the same? Explain that to me.
It's 5 games. 6
Okay,
games.
so it's not the same. Okay, cool. So now we can talk to the fact
now
that
we're
they
using
are
small
better
sample
defensively.
So now we're
Like,
using small
it's
sample sizes of 30 games to elevate Jason Tatum's play.
because
But if anyone
because
does that for
Tatum is
Jaylen
doing
Brown,
better.
it's an issue.
Tatum is doing better.
But
Tatum has been better.
when I use 30 games to elevate Jaylen Brown, I'm an idiot, and it's the wrong talk because of the help that Jason Tatum had in that time. Whereas you can use 30 games when Jason Tatum is in arguably what was talked about last year is arguably the best situation in the league, and he's got more help, and he's got I don't know what you want from this situation. What do you want from this argument here? Jason Tatum had more help in a better situation to win 6 more games through this time.
He did not have more help.
He didn't have more help.
No, people are in and out of the lineup, and he led better offenses and defenses. I don't know what you want from him.
He led better.
I don't know how great Jason Tatum needs to be.
Better offenses and better defenses, which would mean that he has more help.
Who is Jason Tatum's number 1 biggest help?
Jaylen Brown.
The guy.
Who does Jaylen Brown not have that Jason Tatum? So Jaylen Brown doesn't have another superstar. Jaylen Brown is doing this on his own. That's the difference. It's very clear.
Doing it on his own?
Jaylen Brown doesn't have another superstar. Did Jason Tatum have Jaylen Brown?
This is so like, bro. Cool. Yes, Tatum has Jaylen Brown. But
I want you to say, who is Jaylen Brown's Jason Tatum right now?
Either Peyton Pritchard or Derek White.
Peyton Pritchard is his Jason Tatum.
And you're saying that
who's averaging 18, yeah.
So you're saying the gap between Jason Tatum to Jaylen Brown is equivalent to Jaylen Brown to Peyton Pritchard.
Yeah, no,
and when they're out producing what they were going through, the same sample size as last year with a less roster, that shows that Joe Mazzulla is doing a really good job. That's the real person we need to give credit to.
We can go off of last year versus
for the record, just to be clear, do you think Pritchard and Tatum are comparable? Just to be clear.
No.
Okay, so then clearly Jaylen Brown has less help, yes?
No. This is what I don't understand. You guys are just looking at box scores and not understanding impact.
Do you think Jason Tatum being on the court with Jaylen Brown would be very helpful to him?
Because somebody's getting double teamed and the other person's not. Jaylen Brown is not getting double teamed like Jason Tatum is.
Do you think
Jaylen
Brown
even
now?
So
do you think Jaylen Brown being on the court with Tatum is helpful to Tatum?
Wait, what? I'm sorry?
Do you think Jaylen Brown being on the court with Tatum is helpful to Tatum?
Yes, just like anybody else is.
For sure, because they're both superstars. So when you lose one of the superstars on your team, Peyton Pritchard is not comparable to Jason Tatum.
And that's what we said at the beginning, is when the bench is now overproducing because of this same thing, where at this point last year, the bench wasn't overproducing, and Jason Tatum was getting more of a scoring load and carrying that offense.
Because Tatum was there. Therefore, now Jaylen Brown is leading a team with less help to a 6-game difference.
So when a team has a -2 offense when you're off the court, how is that more impactful when your bench players are giving you a +1? How is that equating? A 3 net rating means that Tatum is doing more and leading to better offenses and more wins, the objective of the game. If you have better help and have less wins, what does that make you? Worse.
My problem with this is if you compare Jason Tatum to other stars in the league, then the first thing anybody wants to rush to is his efficiency numbers and how inefficient he really is on the floor. But as soon as we want to put it in the microscope and go straight to his team, he's this effective god that they need to be 6 games better than they already are. So I'm just, like I said, I'm just slightly confused by the whole argument here. Hold on, Roger. How can we knock Tatum against other stars that he might quote unquote be better than in the league, and guys want to put him as a T5 player in basketball, yet without Tatum the Celtics are still winning. And when we compare it to it and we say that Jaylen Brown is a big part of why they are winning,
because Jaylen Brown has better bench help than Jason Tatum ever has in his career.
Yeah,
you're right, but Jason Tatum has better starting help than Jaylen Brown.
I was about, just to be clear, we're not using the help argument because Jason Tatum had Jaylen Brown, but Jaylen Brown doesn't get Jason Tatum. This is Jaylen Brown.
The argument you're making here, Juelz, is you're saying the gap between Jason Tatum to Jaylen Brown is the same gap as Jaylen Brown to Peyton Pritchard, which is just simply
that's basically
not
that's the argument you're making.
No, the argument is that Jaylen Brown needs more bench help while Jason Tatum is a better offensive player.
Of course, Jaylen Brown needs bench help because he doesn't have the superstar.
And Jason Tatum would need more bench help if he doesn't have Jaylen Brown.
And who's the mastermind behind that? Joe Mazzulla, not Jaylen Brown. Thank you. Thank you for making the argument for me. I appreciate that.
How does that make an argument for you? What are you talking about? Are you as delusional as that guy?
I highly disagree, but I want to make something very clear, okay? I don't know if people remember, Jaylen Brown was drafted 3rd overall. When Jaylen Brown was drafted 3rd overall, I went deep into the vault to find this, but I thought it was very curious. There was a quote from a scout that was in Bleacher Report, and they said, Jaylen Brown's numbers and body type share similarities with Kawhi Leonard when he was at San Diego State. Leonard averaged the same number of assists as a freshman, and his scoring numbers as a sophomore are almost identical. Developing into the type of two-way player that Leonard has become would be the ceiling for Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown was getting Kawhi Leonard comps out of college. It's not like Jaylen Brown was forever meant to be the perennial second option for the Celtics. Jaylen Brown has developed easily into the first option as soon as he was required to, because Jaylen Brown has always been a first option type of guy. The only reason why he hasn't been playing first option is because Jason Tatum has taken that on. But Jaylen Brown absolutely has always been recognized as a first option type of guy. So I think people also need to just keep that in mind as well. It's not like this guy came out of college and people were like, oh, I can't wait to see him as the second option on the Celtics.
The thing that pisses me off is you guys can say, the rest of everyone that we have this conversation with can say, oh, this is just biased Jason Tatum hate and Jason Tatum slander and this, that, and the other. But we are recognizing the value that Jaylen Brown has, and you guys undercut him that he's basically Kwame Brown. Like, that is literally how it feels when you guys talk.
He just has he has a green light. Any option with a green light. Oh, Jamal Murray's going to put up 40-point games because the best player is not on the team. Of course, somebody's going to give you 30 when the first option is
like almost dehumanize Jaylen Brown as a basketball player, and that's
it's because metrically it's not the same, because the metrics say. And what my eye test says is the same exact thing. Is now your best option is not off the court, so yes, you can go and average 30, and that's completely fine. That is not devaluing somebody. That's putting into perspective that the number 2 can go and give you number 1 option numbers when the number 1 isn't necessarily there. He can be a number 1 option everywhere. That's fine.
The problem is the argument's sitting on sand, because Justin and I don't have to devalue Jason Tatum to make the Jaylen Brown argument, whereas in order for it to work, you have to devalue Jaylen Brown.
No, because you guys devalue Jason Tatum in said argument.
We don't devalue Jason Tatum. We're just trying to say that Jaylen Brown is equal.
To be clear,
it's not equal.
To be clear, this whole conversation, I have used the word superstar to describe Jason Tatum. I have said he is absolutely has a massive role on the court. Him and Jaylen Brown have a very big roles, but your argument doesn't consist off of making Jason Tatum look really good. It consists off of making Jaylen Brown down. That's the difference. That's why our argument.
Yes, correct, because the metrics and eye test back up that said stuff instead of just saying, yes, it does. On off numbers and my eye test go and do that.
No,
they're not.
Your on-off numbers are wrong because the difference is
How are the numbers wrong?
Because Jason Tatum had Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown doesn't have Jason Tatum.
Yes, oh my god, bro.
If Jason Tatum didn't have Jaylen Brown,
idiotic conversation ever, bro.
How is this idiotic? If the roles were reversed,
yes, it is.
If we were saying Jaylen Brown was the number 1 and we were defending Jason Tatum, you'd be shitting on Jason Tatum to say Jaylen Brown is better.
Because this is how impact metrics go. Because when metrically Jaylen Brown has not changed his game at all and is now averaging more points on more volume, that is said production. That is production is there.
Let me ask you something. These advanced metrics that you stand by, Just curious, how many people or how many new advanced metrics get brought into light every year? Because
Not many.
I believe a certain guy that you do another podcast with has created his own new advanced metric that is trying to push on other people. So again, I'm just saying that there are advanced metrics for everything, but according to your quote-unquote eye test, if you take Jaylen Brown off of the Celtics right now, they are 100% a bottom feeder team.
And
Yes
you
or
can
no?
make that same thing with Jason Tatum.
Jason
Yes.
Tatum's not there.
Wait, Juelz. Yes, correct, true. If you take either one off the team, they are bottom feeders. Bingo. They are equal. They have impact. They are the same. And if you take either one off the team and leave them without their superstars, they are in trouble. Correct.
But you
You're
can
telling
make
me-
that
you're telling
argument
me
with
right- hold on.
everybody. That doesn't
You're
hold
telling-
water.
You're telling me right now, if the roles were reversed and Jaylen Brown was out for this long, that the Celtics would be in a better position.
Absolutely, 110%. Because
No,
because Tatum doesn't turn over the ball like Jaylen Brown. He actually has a left hand. He scores at more volume. He's more efficient. All that kind of stuff.
If
Do you know
Jason
that they
Tatum
both
didn't-
averaged 3 turnovers for their entire
Oh,
career?
If Jason Tatum didn't
Cool.
have
Career
Jaylen
numbers
Brown,
don't portray a
Oh,
season by
career
season
numbers.
basis. Like
wait,
Career
hold on.
career
To
numbers
be
don't
casual.
matter.
clear, to be clear, if Jason Tatum didn't have Jaylen Brown, he would need an elevated bench the same way Jaylen Brown does.
Can I
You would need the same
ask
thing.
how does a career metric, if they're averaging, and I mean averaging, 3 turnovers almost every year, both of them in a column all the way down? How does that not
yeah,
matter?
look at
You turn the
passing
ball
volume.
over, you say they
Yeah.
turn the ball over,
Look-
but they
look-
do the
yes.
exact same thing.
Justin, this is how you evaluate it: is go by on-ball percentage and see about of the volume of what is said play action, in action, split action, pistol action, all the stuff you say you like to go and watch. Why is Jaylen Brown having less actions being run for him than Jason Tatum? Because Jason Tatum can actually run those, and Jaylen Brown turns over the ball. That's why Jason Tatum has been a better playmaker, because he can make those reads unlike Jaylen Brown. You can go and say, okay, cool, they're averaging 3 turnovers. That doesn't mean anything.
Has it been
That
proven
doesn't mean anything.
Has it been proven that Jaylen Brown can't do it because they don't set him up in the sets to run the plays? Anyway,
Wait,
It's not
I
true.
also-
You just go
I
watch
also-
some Celtics games, bro. I'm not gonna lie.
So I have another problem as well, right? Because you make the claim that, like, okay, sure. So you take these two guys, they have similar turnovers, but if Jaylen Brown had to be the number one guy for the majority, his turnovers would jump super high. How many more turnovers on average do you think Jaylen Brown has this year than he had last year? I'm curious. How much more do you think?
They've jumped like, no, not by career averages. We're not doing that. We're not doing
No,
He said
it's
this
on a
was
last
per
year.
on a per 75 basis. He's averaging almost 5 turnovers a game.
No, Juelz, I'm not asking hypothetical. I'm saying actual turnovers, not per 75. Actual turnovers from last season to this season. How much has the average jumped? Do you know?
It's about 1.5.
It's about
On less volume. That's not good.
Yes, it is about 1 turnover. More.
Yes, on less volume. That is not good.
To be clear, that is barely anything. It's 1 turnover more a game. I guarantee you, if I would have asked you this question at the beginning of this season, and I asked you how much more do you think Jaylen Brown's turnovers would have gone up, you would have said it would have been a 2 or 3 at least increase.
No, I would say that if you're averaging almost the same amount of assists as turnovers, just like another said top 5 player, Anthony Edwards, is that's not a good playmaker, because we just shit on Anthony Edwards. I use the same logic for Anthony Edwards. Jaylen Brown is in that same type of tier playmaker as Anthony Edwards. They're both not tremendous.
I would be very curious to see what Jason Tatum's turnovers looked like without having Jaylen Brown on the court. That would be something I'd like to see. Because again, you can say what you want in terms of like, oh, Jaylen Brown's numbers have gone this way or that way. But the bottom line is we've never seen Tatum without Brown. So we have no idea how bad it would look. What I do know is how good it looks when Brown is on the court because they're currently 4th in the East. What I do know is that it's working. That's what I do know. I don't need hypotheticals for that. I can tell you that.
you can talk about them having a 28th ranked defense and this, that, and the other, but they are still ranked 4th in the East and like 7th in the NBA. So I don't see this being that much of a difference for the simple fact that even if they have that bad of a defense, that must mean they have one hell of an offense.
Oh yeah, their offense is tremendous, but that's not led by Jaylen Brown. That's led by Peyton Pritchard and Derek White, who Jason Tatum can lead your offense and be a better offense.
Interesting.
Insane.
Wait, do you know how many turnovers that Jason Tatum averaged last year?
3.
It was like 3 or 4.
Yeah, it was like 2.9. So Jaylen Brown's averaging 3.7. It's about a 0.8 turnover difference. I don't see the problem you're referring to whatsoever. To be honest with
because of said volume.
It's because of his advanced metrics and percentage of volume of whatever. Even though Jaylen Brown is probably having the ball in his hands just as much as Jason Tatum is, the difference is when he's doing it, he's catching and shooting and not. So
also, speaking of, I'm seeing games that just contradict, like against the Trailblazers. Thank you, Peyton Pritchard, for going 3 of 10 from the field. Thank you, Derek White, for going 5 of 16. I appreciate the excellent efficiency while Jaylen Brown is having 37 points and going 14 of 23 from the field. God bless. Jaylen Brown is literally having to put this team on his back some nights in order to get them through games. So I don't...
Wait, are we going to disregard Peyton Pritchard's 31 or Derek White's 37? Is that something we can cherry pick too, Retro? Because we can do that if we want.
You're cherry picking outlier 1 or 2 games versus what Jaylen Brown is doing the whole season.
I was going to say, I'm down, Juelz. Are they averaging 30 like Jaylen Brown is? I might be wrong. Tell me if Peyton Pritchard's averaging 30.
No, but Derek White's supposed to be an all-star this year, right? Who was the all-stars that Jason Tatum played with other than Jaylen Brown? Gotcha. So we can make this all that we can have the next 3 hours until my phone fucking dies on it. Let's move on. We're not going to come to a conclusion about this.
Okay.
Right.
Fair enough.
We're Jason Tatum haters and you're Jaylen Brown hater. Got it.
I love Jason Tatum, by the way.
I have no problem with Jason Tatum. I just want the respect for Jaylen Brown. That's all it is. That's all I have. I'm not talking about any other team in the East. I don't really care about any other team in the East. The only notable thing that any other team in the East can show me right now is congratulations, Toronto. You got RJ Barrett back and his major team looked great. Starting Scotty at the 5, I think, was a smart move because that man is a certified rebound chaser,
Facts.
an overrated, overglorified double-double machine, but he can chase a fucking rebound around the court just as good as Dennis Rodman did. So more power to Scotty Brown for being able to chase ball. Great triple-double the other night. Anyway, moving on to the segment of Juelz is already pissed off, so he can rage at Retro, even though I just, like I said, I just wish you would understand that Jaylen Brown is a good basketball player, and that's just what I'm trying to get people to understand. The first category for the Pick 3 Cut 5 this week is Top NBA Peaks, and I will give you I guess I'll give you a little helper beforehand. No Jordan, no LeBron, no Wilt on this list.
Okay.
Just because there's so many good actual 5, and they're all 5-year peaks, so it's a 5-year peak.
Okay. Is there a certain Serbian on here? Or no?
Potentially.
Okay.
Not going to tell you yes or no, but potentially. The first one up is Larry Bird's 83 to 88 peak.
I think Juelz hates Larry Bird.
He doesn't hate him. He doesn't hate him. He just values that Larry Bird's not a top 10 player all time.
So you did 5-year.
I'm going to give you the years every time. It's 83 to 88.
So okay. So it might differ from player to player. That's more my question.
All of them are 5-year peaks. It's every number is a 5-year gap.
That's the only thing I wanted. So, do we want Retro? So, do you want a perennial playoff choker that needs Dennis Johnson?
I was gonna say I'm kind of okay with cutting because I know that there's gonna be some other because the only people he ruled out are Jordan, Wilt, and Braun. So that means there could be a plethora of better.
There's a lot of more offensive peaks I would much rather take, so I would cut Larry Bird.
Cut Larry Bird, got it. Next up is Giannis's peak in 18 to 23.
Oh, man. Dude, Giannis, not only was it the scoring, but the defense, along with it, is absolutely insane.
That's 18. See, I would I would still cut this personally.
It would have to be a really hard cut because he wins DPOY in this point. He wins, or he goes 30 points per game. Oh man,
Cutting Giannis?
I would say cut.
yeah, I guess that's one I don't know. We'll see about that.
Magic 85 to 89, 85 to 90. Sorry,
Easy keep.
I would keep Magic.
keep Magic.
That's the better of the two in that rivalry, I think.
Correct.
Kevin Durant 2012 to 2017.
I would cut that.
I prefer that to Giannis's, but I would probably cut as well.
I prefer Giannis's just for the defensive aspect.
David Robinson 92 to 97.
It's a very good peak.
He's a playoff dropper. Shout out to the Spurs. Go Spurs, go. I would still cut.
So we have, 2 cuts left and 2 keeps?
No, you have 2 keeps, 1 cut.
Oof. Okay.
Luka's peak 19 to 24 and counting.
I'm keeping that.
Yeah. I would keep that.
That's a disgusting peak.
Kevin Garnett 2001 to 2006.
No, I mean, if we're talking two-way, this is kind of just... I'm not going to say the better version of Giannis. Giannis was a better scorer, but Kevin Garnett was a better defender, and he still was a very solid scorer.
See, we haven't done this in a bit, and I know I will always say this. I know Justin, and he's gonna make us he's gonna do this to me because he knows I'm a KG fucking glazer, and
he's gonna include the Serbian.
He's either gonna include the Serbian or he's gonna include said free throw merchant you hate, and I think I would cut KG. That's the hardest cut out of everybody.
I agree.
All right. So you cut Bird, cut Giannis, cut KD, cut David Robinson, cut Kevin Garnett to keep Magic Johnson 85 to 90, KG 01 to 06, and Paul Pierce 01 to 06.
You mean Luka? We cut KG. We kept Luka.
Yeah, you kept Luka. Sorry, but you kept
Paul
Paul Pierce.
I fucking hate you. Paul Pierce is a bum.
We kept the greatest shooter of all time. Is that what you said?
That's wild.
The greatest offensive player of all time by his standards.
The 01 to 06 game.
Paul Pierce, bro, he could hit his shot from anywhere.
All right, so this one I did, and doing the research on this really put me in my feels. And the player I mentioned to you guys earlier that I watched his retirement video is not on this list, but he definitely should be because it's probably the saddest one of all time.
Right.
Tragic NBA injury.
Oh.
Okay.
First one up is Victor Oladipo in Indy.
Man.
Oladipo.
Feels, bro.
I didn't feel shit about that, to be honest.
I promise you, these almost all hit me in the feels.
Dude, I've got family in Indy, and I was such a big fan of Victor Oladipo. Oh, man.
Not moved.
You're a heartless man.
There's just a lot of, more.
It's a lot. It's like, I understand the not moved call, but Victor Oladipo was unbelievable, and then just gone. Next up is the KD in the finals against Toronto.
I'm more moved on that.
I'm not. Cut.
What? Why?
Because I don't care about KD as much as Oladipo. KD's a snake.
KD's a businessman.
What? KD is a businessman. We can cut. That's fine.
That's all I gotta say. Next up, probably the second most gruesome basketball injury I've ever seen. Paul George, USA.
Oof.
Well, we're keeping that. The fuck?
Yeah.
That's some people's goats, mind you.
I don't think you understand. I don't think you understand that. That one, I was such a big fan of PG-13. PG-24 didn't do it for me. But I feel like that was just arguably the turning point in his career, and that sucked. That
like Juelz said, bro, that was some people's go.
I said this a couple weeks ago, bro. Don't play for teams in Indy, bro. It just fucks your whole shit up.
I was a huge fan of Paul George too.
Ja going down against OKC.
That's a cut. Like, does that really, like, does that move people? That really move? Justin, that move you?
Yes.
That moved you? Are you that soft?
Hey, listen, Justin, I feel for you.
That's soft about Ja Morant getting injured?
I feel for you, but it did not move me.
Ja's the most overrated player
This
next to
injury
Zion.
caused Ja Morant to go on Instagram. That was the problem.
Okay, so it's more of like the domino effect of like what happened.
That's what all of these are, bro. Victor's domino effect basically killed the Indy franchise until Tyrese got back. KD literally getting hurt cost them the finals. Paul George has derailed his career. Ja's injury caused him to have too much free time to go play with pew-pews, and, well, we know how that's playing out right now.
Get that man out of Memphis.
Next up, this one moves me a little bit, not a ton, but it's definitely very crucial, is the Gordon Hayward opening night injury in Boston.
Keep.
That's an instantaneous keep, yeah. Because mind you, going back to it, that's what jump-started Jason Tatum's career.
Also, I don't care what anybody says, Gordon Hayward is a superstar. He was.
He's not a superstar.
Gross.
He's a fringe star. He's a fringe.
He was a superstar.
Gordon Hayward never was a superstar. He was a fringe star. Anyway,
he was
fringe star. Next up, probably the most, well, without the Jokic thing, probably the most recent one. Tyrese Game 7.
Keep. That moved me.
This is your last keep, just so you know.
That made me very sad. I'm okay with that.
Juelz? You have 2 more after this, by the way.
That's why I'm like, I don't want to keep, because I want to hear the others. Because, like, it's because of the situation, because, like, the what if.
Believe me, the next one is the next one's a what if and a half.
The only reason why I'm open to cutting this, I think, is because I think we all knew it was coming because he was hurt prior to and forcing him.
I think this was by far the hardest one on floor for me to watch.
Because I'm okay.
The emotion and pain in his eyes when he's pounding the floor looking for help,
and more than that, he knew that they were going to win if he would have stayed. He knew it. He was going crazy. He starts the game 3 for 3 from 3. He's unstoppable. Can't miss. The Pacers are up going into halftime.
It just sucks that it's a non-contact too. It's just again the worst kind of a situation.
Juelz, I'm okay with this being the hardest cut I've ever made because we kind of knew he was going to get hurt. But this is like this hurt.
That's why I would say cut, because I think
I'll tell you right now, it's definitely probably borderline keep cut compared to what's on the list.
Okay. Hey, but Tyrese, bro, we are praying for your health.
The next one, I hate the guy, but this is probably just the what if on the list is the first Joel Embiid injury.
No. I'll be honest, that's a cut for me.
No, because like the first Embiid so what do you define as the first one? Like the one in was it 2021?
When he got fallen on in his knee, basically.
When he fell on.
When his knee went in 3 directions in 1 second, yeah.
Okay, yeah. You did not need to say that.
No.
That's basically what he was laying on the floor. He was perfectly fine, and then the other guy literally like lost his footing going for the ball and fell and took his knee basically to the backside of his leg. And you knew immediately, like it was so bad. Like the play, like the ball squirts out of bounds, and I can't remember exactly who fell on him, but immediately was calling for help that he knew like something was fucked.
That's why I think it's a bigger what if, because like we now like because it's the whole Embiid and Jokic conversations, and like regardless of where you kind of landed on it, a person
If he was healthy,
who's
this would be the best center matchup we've had in a long time.
in a long time. I find this as I would say I want to keep this really bad. I'm not gonna lie. I'm leaning keep retro.
Yeah.
You mean eh? I'll
I'm not
cut
really-
it. I'll cut it and compromise. I mean, I had to cut the Tyrese thing, so
Yeah, I'll be real. This one doesn't overly move me. I don't know.
damn.
Yeah.
We'll cut.
Okay.
What is the last one? Derrick Rose.
I'm gonna personally say it's a good cut because the next one for me, just heartbreaking to the situation. His teammate already mentioned on this list goes down. This man goes for a layup, comes down, and Steph basically loses his mind. It's Clay's injury.
Oh, we kept
That-
Clay.
I'm fine. That one was bad. That was really,
So it's
really
cut Oladipo, cut KD, cut Ja, cut Tyrese, cut Embiid to keep Paul George, Gordon Hayward, and Klay Thompson.
I think we cut Paul George and keep Oladipo? Or no, am I tripping?
No.
Oh. Okay. Well,
No.
I'm fine keeping Clay.
Sorry
That
to-
was really bad.
sorry to
That-
Sorry to sadden that moment, but I did set it up so I can actually end it on a higher note and a light-heartening one. We can get a little bit of a laugh in here. This is embarrassing moments.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
First one up by far might be one of my favorite moments. I don't know if it cracks the top of this list, but one of my favorites is the infamous Nick Young 3 where he turns around and thinks he made it.
That one was phenomenal. That was spectacular.
That shit was funny as hell. I think that's a cut though. That's definitely me. I mean, Nick Young's got some good memes though.
Nick Young's
Yeah, I
got
was gonna
great
say-
memes.
It would be a cut, but if it was like an NBA memes list, which that could be another fun one.
That's basically
That would be-
what half of this is.
Yeah, that would be a keep if it was a straight memes list, but I think it's a cut.
Embarrassing moment number 2. Dylan Brooks talking shit to LeBron, immediately getting destroyed.
Keep.
We're not wasting a keep on this, bro.
Bro, it was so funny. He was like, "You're trying to mess with the bear, dude." It was hilarious. That was
Seem
the funniest
like it
thing.
was a WWE fucking like
Dude,
promo.
he's taking the mic, bro. He's talking. You trying to mess with the bear, buddy? You're gonna get it.
It was so good. It was so good.
We're cutting that.
Dude, Juelz, come on, bro. There's no
We're
way.
cutting. No, because there's way more funnier moments than that. There's way funnier moments.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'll grant it. I'll grant it.
Yeah, we're cutting that to move on to arguably one of the most embarrassing things that any team can do. Blowing a 3-1 lead.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's a key.
Yeah,
It's
we're
a good
keeping
thing
that
no
one.
team has ever done that in the finals, so there's
Never.
no
It's
reason.
never happened.
Ever happened ever.
Never happened. Ever. Next up, probably the biggest meme in NBA history. DeAndre Jordan dunking the life out of Brandon Knight.
Oh, I love that.
I also just want to say for the record, that guy that blew the 3-1 lead, that's some people's GOAT point guard. I just want to put that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that the Brandon Knight dunk was hilarious.
What makes that shit so funny is because
DeAndre
like
Jordan's face after?
it's his fucking face afterwards because the context behind it really quickly is like he watches it on the big screen and then he does the fucking face.
He doesn't realize
he
how bad it was, and then he sees it. He's like, "Oh my god!"
Yes, he's like shit. I want to keep that.
By the way, I just
want
want to be
keep that
clear:
very
if
badly.
Brandon Knight could have been on here multiple times, whether it's the game-winning layup he blew, whether it's this, There's so many Brandon Knight memes. It's not
The layup was funnier than the poster. The layup was funnier.
the layup was funnier than the poster, but the fact that Westbrook recreated it later on in the like world, just
shout out Andre Drummond, by the way, because he's awesome. But okay, here's my take. I would actually cut it. I think it was funny, but I don't think it was that funny.
I just think the reactions after made it so much better than it actually was.
I agree 100%.
I think there's more embarrassing things, though.
Fine. I want to keep this, but I'll supersede. That's a harder cut than fucking Tyrese Halliburton. I'll tell you that.
That's facts.
No.
That's facts.
No.
This one's just me being mad disrespectful, but I don't give a fuck. JaVale McGee's whole career.
You're a dick, dude. You're cutting that. You're a dick.
JaVale McGee's career is based off of Shaq and a Fool.
I kind of want to keep that, actually.
You're disgusting. You're disgusting.
That's pretty fucked that you didn't want to keep the last one, but JaVale McGee, that's pretty great. I love that for you.
I'm sorry, that guy basically ran Shaq in a Fool, bro. Like
he lined Shaq's pockets for a good amount of time.
I don't know, Jules. Do you want to cut it? We can cut it.
Yes, we're cutting that. Come on, dog. Come on.
All right.
McGee, I want you to know that Jules is your strongest soldier because I would have kept it.
That's facts.
That's gross.
Next up is the Tony Snell 20 minutes 0 stats game.
Keep.
That's an instantaneous keep.
Yeah, that has been the context.
So, really quickly, Justin, which one? Because he's got two. That's how goated. That's how embarrassing that is. He's got two.
The first Bucks one by far.
The first. Okay. But the fact that he was able to do that twice is
he was
funny.
supposed to be a viable option on the team, and he was just,
Dude, it's literally every time a player has a terrorist performance, that is every single time that is in the comments somewhere.
Literally.
Every time.
That's on par with like the Wilt stat line. Whenever a player has a really good game and they put up that one Wilt stat line, it's on par with
where they put the paper up. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. You got one keep left and two moments left. Next is AI stepping over Ty Lue.
Oh.
From the perspective of Ty Lue.
Oh man.
I mean, to be fair, because of that moment, Ty Lue got paid. He got a max contract that following season.
He did.
I'm
okay cutting it.
I'm okay cutting it as well.
Okay.
That shit's funny though.
So you cut Nick Young's 3, you cut Dylan Brooks, you cut Brandon Knight, you cut JaVale McGee, you cut Ty Lue to keep the blown 3-1 lead, Tony Snell, and J.R. Smith holding the ball too long.
Dude, that's the best 3 we've done since we've been doing this. Easily.
That is perfect.
That is perfect. That's perfect. I love that.
Smith holding the ball is easily one of the funniest things.
His face is just unbelievable.
So here's the question. Do you think he was faded?
Absolutely. There's no doubt in my mind.
I think he was gone. I think he was absolutely gone.
Yeah, that's
I feel like 90% of his career he was on another planet, and the other we was Prime Jordan.
Yeah,
fair.
Well, it's like it's like LT. LT chose cocaine as his drug of choice, and J.R. Smithers chose the marijuana.
The marijuana
removed.
It's the Stephen A. clip. Stephen A. said, "Stay off the weed."
Removed.
Unfathomable.
All
right.
What's our history fact of the day?
Hey, wait. So while Justin's doing it, can I give one as well? I have a history fact.
If it's about either one of your franchises, no thank you.
Well, it's sports related, but it's basically all sports. So on this day in history, Elon Musk's net worth went up to $700 billion, which means he could now buy every single franchise across all of the 4 major sports and have $222 billion left over.
That's gross.
Yeah.
All right.
It's insane.
So
He could buy every single sports league.
part of me wishes this was the football podcast because this would just be so much better. But I'm using two of them. So the first one is AFC Championship game 1968. And the relevance behind it is because I'm paying homage because John Madden was in this game. Rest coach. But the Jets beat the Oakland Raiders 27-23. Joe Namath threw for 3 touchdown passes to spark the win. And the other one is, let me just get the year to make sure it's correct. And we'll all just agree to hate this. December 29th, 2007 was the day the Patriots finished the undefeated season. Brady throwing for the then NFL record 50th touchdown pass and being the first team to finish a regular season 16-0. Hey, Retro, just curious, how'd that season finish?
Yeah, I was actually gonna ask you because I just can't remember what
Some
happened in that year.
some Hall of Famer put a stop to that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. What was his name? He goes by a lot of names. The Goat Stopper, Tom Brady's father, Hall of Famer.
The new Danny DeVito.
Yeah, I believe his name is Eli Manning. I believe that's who his name was.
Yeah.
Good thing it's a basketball podcast.
Great thing it's a basketball podcast. So yeah, again, I'll say it every week. Juelz will chime in every other week because we'll just get it done. Please make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, give us some sort of feedback. It's December 29th, which means that in 2 days I have to honor my New Year's resolution of actually posting content, which is insane because I've actually had people in my life ask me where the podcast went and that they don't follow the YouTube. So if you do make it this far and you're not subscribed, that's basically your fucking fault at this point because it's a little button and it doesn't cost you anything.
And guys, this was a 2-hour and 15-minute podcast. Do not say we're not getting you content, okay?
Yeah, just
2 hours and 15 minutes.
Yeah, and you guys can thank the guy in the Lakers hoodie over there, number 1 Lakers stan over there, number 1 LeBron fan, because now I have access to actually watch games when I miss them, which means that these will probably be 2-hour shows now because I will have prep work on probably 90% of teams because I'll be watching games to prove furthermore that Jaylen Brown is just as good as Jason Tatum. Therefore, with that being said, I've been Justin, that's Retro, that's Juelz. The Bulls still suck, crazy enough, and we'll see you guys tomorrow for football and next week for basketball.
Jaylen Brown's better than LeBron.
All right.